Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got 4 replays in the brand new Eastern Alliance Era 1 Tech Tree heavy tank, the IS-3M. Now this is the start of the new Soviet heavy line that's come out in Cold War. And what's it like as a tank? Well, I've pretty much enjoyed playing it. It's been a pretty solid heavy tank, just like it is in World War II. It's fairly mobile when you get it fully upgraded. The gun is really nice. The DPM's pretty good. Penetration's great. Shell velocity's pretty good. The armor is a bit so-so, but most things have pretty high penetration in Era 1, so generally they will go through you. But on the whole, it's not too bad. It does good at what it does, and that is it's good at side scraping as well. If you're careful and they don't hit your pike nose, you will be able to bounce quite a lot while side scraping too, which is definitely very, very nice for the IS-3M. Now, this first replay is stock, and on this stock tank, which we've got completely stock by the way, is this 122mm gun, which has 0.32 accuracy with the build that I've been running. It's got 225 penetration on the standard APCR, because yes, it does have standard APCR. It's got 265mm of penetration on the premium APCR, with 61mm of penetration on the HE rounds, which do 550 damage. Your standard round while stock actually does 440 damage, which is very, very nice. 440 does slap quite hard, and it's definitely more in keeping with a lot of the 122s in the era, except for the poor WZ-111 that's got, I think, 390. You've got 795 meters a second shell velocity on the standard APCR, which is slow, so you will feel that shell velocity at distance, and the premium APCR is only 1007 meters a second, which again is still pretty slow for APCR. It does go a hell of a lot quicker when you do get the upgraded gun, which is definitely nice. You've got 5 degrees of gun depression because you are Soviet. You're a Soviet tank. A lot of them have 5 degrees of gun depression, so if you were expecting more, yeah, it's not going to be that way. You also, with this stock engine, have 520 horsepower, which gives you a which does not help you really to reach the 42 kilometers an hour top speed with the build that I have. But to be honest, I've run the traction system because I also want the track traverse too. But yeah, you do have a 42 kilometers an hour top speed with the stock engine with the build I have, which again is still fairly decently quick for a heavy tank, but at the same time, you don't really hit it that much because your 520 horsepower engine for 10.67 horsepower per ton ratio, you just don't really hit it that often when you are stock, which is definitely pain. But to be honest, this tank stock has been it was really nice, and to be honest, you don't spend long stock in Era 1 anymore. With the XP changes, you fly straight through the stock grind, and you are pretty much fully upgraded within, what, 3 or 4 games, especially if you're running 2 times or 3 times boosters. You very quickly stock. I think it took me 2 games to get fully upgraded with a 3 times booster, and that was doing like 10k XP in 1 or 2 games. So, yeah, you will fly through it. But stock is not too bad. The 2.49 second aim time is something that you might feel a little bit on this IS-3M with the stock gun as well. But to be honest, it's not too bad because your accuracy during movement and rotation is 0.64 and 1.45, which is fantastic, which, as you can see, means this aim circle does not bloom out that much at all. But you've got to be aware, because this gun does like derping at times, and can be a bit frustrating, where it just goes, you know what, I could hit that side armor, or I could go slightly high, and do that, which is pain, but that wasn't really that well aimed anyway. So what do I run in terms of accrue and equipment on the IS-3M? Well, I run ball leader, rapid reload, 6th sense, steady aim, snapshot, run and gun, clutch braking, rapid aim, and track mechanic. And in terms of the equipment, I run advanced loader, the gun stabilizer, and the traction system. Traction system to give me the better track traverse, number 1, and then the better top speed as well, because especially when you are fully upgraded, you will hit that top speed, which is definitely very nice. The gun stabilizer to make the accuracy during movement and rotation better, so that the aim circle, or the bloom of the aim circle, doesn't grow that much, so that you don't have to suffer the aim time. And then the advanced loader to make the best out of the DPM. The clutch braking, again, to make the track traverse better, because it is a little bit, well, just to make it feel like it's nice and quick when it's turning. And the rapid aim to make the truck traverse better, because the truck traverse is pretty slow on this tank, same as it is on, say, the IS-4M as well. So I want to make sure that it is going to turn decently quickly as well with that. And all 3 gun perks to help this gun out as much as humanly possible, because it is a bit of a derpy gun, and especially on the fully upgraded side as well, it can be a bit derpy. So making sure that it is as good as it humanly can be is always something you want to be doing, especially for a tank that, while you do have reasonable armor, it's all about making this gun sing, right? So, as you can see in this first game, we've managed to get 4,481 damage so far. We've got 120 assistance, and there's only 2 tanks left on the enemy team. There's the 4,005 that is currently getting attacked by, well, basically everyone. And then the RU, which is somewhere. But I get spotted, and I don't think that that was at that FV. I don't think that FV could actually see me here. So I'm like, okay, the RU somewhere. The RU is somewhere where he can see me. There he is. He gets spotted on the hill. And our IS-3M ends up shutting him down. We finished the first game while we were completely stock. We finished with the victory. 2 kills, 4.4k damage, 120 assistance. The second class with the 1448 base XP. A pretty damn nice game there for the IS-3M, especially when stock. But like I say, you don't really spend much time stock. I think this was my 3rd game in the vehicle. And we are pretty much fully upgraded. The only thing we don't have is the top gun. Everything else we have. And that means that we are top engine, top turret, top tracks, everything. The only thing we don't have is that top gun, so we are still using the stock gun, which is the way I try and do it with these early tank videos when there's a whole new line. I try and keep it where I have 2 games with the stock gun, so you get to see a good representation of the stock gun, and then 2 replays where there is a fully upgraded gun, right? So yeah, we've still got the stock gun, and because I changed the turret before this game, I didn't carry any premium rounds, which is pain. The 225 penetration is actually pretty much enough to go through most of the tanks you're going to face in Era 1, which is okay. But the 265 would be nice for facing things like the IS-4M that's just come out, because the IS-4 with 225 penetration is a little bit of a pain to pen, so having that extra 265 pen means you will actually go through that, and when you get to your top gun you have that as standard, which is definitely quite nice. But yeah, when you're shooting at range like you've just seen on Corellia there against that RU, when you've got that stock shell velocity of 795 meters a second, yeah, it starts to be a bit painful, because you really do see the shells loop, which can be just a bit annoying. But you've also seen with moving up to the front line that our new engine with 600 horsepower, which is giving us a 12.25 horsepower per ton ratio, is a lot more nippy than the previous one. You actually get up to your top speed very, very easily. We've got a 44 km/h top speed with the traction system, and to be honest, playing the IS-3M, I've generally hit the 44 km/h very, very often while playing this vehicle, so it's something that you don't have to worry too much about, which is pretty decent for it. So we've managed to get to this corner of Corellia. We're up to 815 damage so far. Just looked for a cupola shot there on the T95E3, but sadly the shot just whiffed it. It was like, nah, I don't want to hit that. We go for the shot into the cupola again while he's basically stationary, and we hit the floor again. This is what I'm saying about this IS-3M 122. It does love a good little bit of a miss at times. If you really need to hit a weak spot, it doesn't like doing it. And the top gun is no different. The top gun does exactly the same. You sit there and go, aha, I should be able to... Oh, I missed. Okay. It will hit shots on the move because, well, that's just RNG, right? RNG giveth and RNG taketh. But generally, on the whole, this gun is pretty derpy. If you've played the WZ-111, you are going to be pretty familiar with how this gun is going to feel, because that gun is actually worse than this gun, to be perfectly honest, in terms of the accuracy and stuff like that, or the feel of it. But they feel very, very similar in the way that they play, and if you are used to that one, you're probably fairly used to this one as well. So my IS-3M friend popped smoke, and I decided, okay, no, there's no point staying in that little zone. There's stuff shooting at us that we can't really see. They've still got quite a lot of tanks left. It is 10-11, which means it is still very, very close. So I want to put myself in a better position to get shots. Maybe I can get some shots at the guys on the hill from this corner here at B2, but I could also shoot towards the cap, and there we go. That's the IS-3M spotted. We go for the side shot. We should have, even though he was actually reversing very slowly, we should have led that better, because that meant we actually hit his tracks only and didn't penetrate the IS-3M. But we do manage to get a shot through his turret front. The other IS-3M is looking at us, because obviously, naturally, this being day one, there is quite a few of the IS-3Ms knocking about. And 225 pen, yeah, you will go through an IS-3M with 225 pen. It's, let's say, it's not the hardest tank in the universe to go through, but it's, because well, it's just the way it is. It's Soviet. It's a Soviet tank, which means that you can go through it fairly easily, but at the same time, it has a lot of awkward angles on it, where when you shoot it, it will just ricochet. You'll sit there going, eh, how did that bounce? And that's just what this tank does. Plus, you've got the Soviet spaced armor on the side, on the upper hull side as well, which can just absorb shots, and you sit there going, how did that bounce? Or how did that track only, right? And you think, how did that just not penetrate the tank? It has a lot of that. So there's a lot of things that can be used to its advantage. Like the turret armor is also very, very good. So if you do get yourselves into a position, which is difficult, say, you know, with 5 degrees of gun depression, but if you do get yourselves into a hull down location, you will be able to use the turret armor to a pretty decent, well, to your advantage, pretty much. So we're just in a position where I was thinking of attacking the Cap and attacking the IS-3M in the middle, who is full health, so we do have to be careful, but we can actually get shots at the guys crossing the K-line, but there's just stuff in the way, which means we can't quite get it. Sadly, that shot on the T-34 Derps, we should have probably aimed it a little bit better, and therefore we would have hit that shot, but because we snapped it in, it ended up hitting the tracks only of that guy. It probably hit the tracks below where the actual tank is, and therefore that's why it didn't pen. So I'm pushing towards the IS-3M. And I was thinking of going through the IS-3M and possibly pushing up to get better shots at the guys at JK4, but I couldn't quite see them. And then actually the T-34 is in the open, and again, the gun did derp on that one and ended up just not penning the T-34, which is kind of sad. But we're going to go after this IS-3M who is distracted. So while he's distracted, I go straight for the drive wheel. We track him in place, which means he has to either burn his repair kit to get after us to try and shoot us, or he will just sit there and it will take him longer to be able to get shots at us. But he actually takes a shot from my friend in the distance. He bounces his shot on my armor. Like I say, it's not the hardest tank in either of us to go through, but it does have angles, which means it could bounce. And my M103A1 friend comes in and finishes off the IS-3M. There's only 5 tanks left on the enemy team, and it is 5-5 currently, which means the game is fairly balanced. This could still go either way. We know where 3 of their tanks are. So what we're going to do is close in and see if we can get towards where they are. But we actually have shots at the IS-4M. And that is where having premium would have been nice. Because the 225 pen hit the side of the IS-4M and tracked it. Well, didn't even track it. It just damaged its tracks and didn't even blow them off. Which, if we'd fired 265 pen APCR, we probably actually would have penned that. But because the IS-4 side armor is really good, it can be a bit troll to pen at this sort of distance as well. We do have 204 penetration over distance, well, at this sort of distance with the 122, which obviously is lower than the 225, which is something you got to bear in mind. So when you're shooting at something like the IS-4M, it can be a bit tricky because, I say, the IS-4M in Era 1 is fairly similar to the IS-4 in World War II, right? Where it's just, it's very troll. The armor on it is one of those that works until it doesn't. It's really troll. You can bounce a hell of a lot, but sometimes it starts to get butchered and you sit there going, what happened to my armor, right? And by the way, fantastic driving, I will say. I'm a great driver. What can I say? We're up to 3.8k damage with 463 assistance, and it's now actually 4-3, so we are winning. The Char 25T is spotted, isolated at F9, and he is currently being closed down by my TD and my heavy tank. And I don't think he's also that healthy either, which means that I'm pretty confident that those 2 guys are probably going to kill him. So we're just going to go towards the 2 IS-3Ms, who we do know were fairly low health, or at least one was a 1-shot and one was a 2 or 3-shot. So with me being a 2-shot, as long as I can get the drop on them and shut one of them down, or at least, you know, get a hit in or 2, I might be able to win this engagement. Plus I have Overwatch from the guy in the middle at G7, although actually he's starting to move off now. But he might have actually been able to shoot them if I'd spotted them, and that would have been quite handy. But I'm just trying to use True Vision and looking over the ridge lines to see if I can see the IS-3Ms, and I can't. And that's because they've pushed backwards, and they've bumped into my IS-4M. So we get the shot into the back of the IS-3M's turret, which we're kind of lucky because we actually hit a little divot in the terrain, which bumped my gun up. Boost our reload with food to try and get the kill, and we actually get it, which is really nice. And we finished the game with the 4,543 damage, the 463 assistance. Pretty damn nice game there for the tank, which is fully upgraded except for the gun. That's what that was. Oh, and a radio. And a radio. But who cares about the radio? Finished with the second class, the 1368 base XP. A pretty decent game there for the IS-3M, while we were using also the stock gun again. But now we're on to the 3rd replay of this video, and the 3rd replay, we are fully upgraded in this IS-3M now. We are the whole package, the whole lot, the works, everything. We're the best we can be. And we've got this 122mm BL9 gun, which again has APCR standard, APDS premium, and HE. Now APDS is exactly the same as APCR in the mechanics, so they're the same round essentially. And we've got 265mm of penetration now on the standard AP rounds, which is obviously the best penetration that you could get with the stock gun, with the premium rounds. It's now your standard round. And the premium round on this vehicle is now 322mm of penetration, which is absolutely fantastic, and will butcher everything you're going to face in Era 1. 322 is a fantastic penetration. You've got 1259 meters a second shell velocity on the standard APCR rounds, which is pretty quick, especially for a gun like this, so that's going to be very, very nice for you, especially shooting at range. And you've got 1400 meters a second shell velocity on the premium APDS, which is absolutely fantastic again. It doesn't mean that the premium round is just flat out better than the standard round, but there we go. It doesn't really matter because, again, the standard round is good enough to deal with pretty much everything you're going to face. You've got a 2.3 second aim time now instead of nearly a 2.5 second aim time with the stock gun with the build that I have, which is not too bad, and especially with an accuracy during movement of 1.44 and an accuracy during rotation of 0.53, you will basically not feel the 2.3 second aim time whatsoever, to be honest, because as you can see, we're full on the move, and our gun just does not bloom out that much at all, and we don't have to really wait for the aim time, which is why we run the gun stabilizer, because you always want to do that with a vehicle like this, so that that gun is always ready to go, and it's always ready to snap the shots in. You have an 8.31 second reload now with this gun as well. You still have 440 alpha, and you've got nearly 3.2k DPM with the build that I have. Naturally, if you weren't that bothered about making the top speed better, and to be honest, it's not really the top speed that I have the traction system for on this vehicle, it's more the track traverse, so I can get the track traverse up to nearly 36 degrees a second. You could run vents, and if you run vents instead of the traction system, you will make everything about the tank better. So your accuracy during movement, rotation, standard accuracy, which is now 0.31 with the build that we have. You'd have made the aim time better, the reload would have got better. You know, you could run vents to make everything about the tank better as well. It's down to you and how you always feel comfortable playing a vehicle as to how you set it up. But I just run it because I want to make it turn quicker, which does add a little bit of pain for the turret traverse, because the turret traverse is a little bit slower on this vehicle, and with the top turret, it does have 31.62 degrees a second turret traverse, which isn't actually horrifically slow, but it is nearly 5 degrees a second slower than your standard hull rotation, or sorry, than your fully pimped out hull rotation speed, so it is a little bit slower, so you just have to be careful of that. So we go for the RBRT on the IS-3M there, and I feel sorry for that charioteer. We went for the RBRT on the IS-3M, and we ended up hitting the charioteer with that shell. Okay, we'll take it, it's fine. And what I want to do in this game is get in and help the town out, because there's quite a few of their tanks in the town, quite a few of their tanks on the outside, but their tanks in the town need to be get rid of so that we can deal with the guys in the field, and we can go get hulled down and all that good stuff. So we shut down the IS-3M. There's now the FV4201... Well, is it FV4201 T95E1? He is round the corner, and I'm thinking, where is he? He's not come round then, so we'll go have a look. So we're just looking for a shot into his hull. Should shoot the cupola. There we go. We've finally decided, yeah, why aren't we shooting the cupola? There we go. We put the shot straight through his cupola and finish him off. You can see my visible rage at myself for just not going. We could have killed that guy so much quicker, and my brain didn't click and go, you know what, you need to shoot that cupola, bro. That's what you need to do. And it was like, oh yeah, thanks, brain. We got there in the end. And we managed to kill that guy, which is the last guy in the town. So there's only 4 tanks left on the enemy team. There is a 4005 and a Conway, IS-3M, and the medium tank that is at E4. So we've got to be very, very careful of that. We're just trying to see if we can see the IS-3M out there. There we can. We put the shot down range. You can see the shell velocity on this vehicle. That 1259 meters a second shell velocity on the standard APCR is definitely very, very nice. It means that you do have to give a little bit of lead, but you don't have to give quite as much lead as you did with the stock gun. I mean, it's a whole, 500 meters a second shell velocity better off on this premium, on the standard round, which is definitely nice. So we know where the 4005 probably is going to be. He's probably going to be in that back corner, so we're looking for him. There he is. Get a shot on the move, and then dip right as quickly as possible because we got spotted. So we can go into the lower ground, use the ridge lines for cover, and therefore he won't be able to hit us and just finish us off. Because, I mean, if he fires Hesh, there's a likelihood he could kill us in one shot, which would be kind of awkward. But he could also, you know, fire AP and bounce. So we fire a shot at what looked like a Conway in those bushes, and I'm like, okay, I missed it, so it must not have been a Conway, right? No, it was a Conway, we just missed. I have no idea how I saw that. I just saw what looked like a turret, and I thought, maybe that's a tank. And I fired and missed, and I was like, oh, well, it must not be there. It's one of those things, because of the way it is when you're firing through concealment sometimes, you see a bit of movement, and you go, oh, that must be a tank. You fire, and you don't hit anything, and you go, oh, okay, there's nothing there. So you start to rearrange looking at other positions, and then they fire and get spotted, and you go, he was there, I just missed. Well, that's time anyway. But we're up to 4,030 damage and 1,500 assistance, and we are spotting that convoy for our team. We're being as careful as possible, because there is a 4,005 out there, and we don't want to get 4,005. That would be a bad time. So we just get up here, we find the 4,005, go for the shot into his turret, and we hit the floor. We hit the floor. Sad times. It's like, well, okay, the 4,005 is in the open. We've got the full turret. Let's go. We hit the floor. RNG, why? Why? We basically have that guy's whole turret. So I'm just keeping my eye on where the convoy might have been, because the 4,005 pops smoke. There's the convoy. We go for the side shot. And we track him only. Oh, RNG is just giving us a big middle finger right now. That is pure pain. Looking for the shot into the 4,005. We see his drive wheel. And I don't even... Oh, we did track him in the end. He goes for the kill on my heavy tank. We go for the RBRT and finish off that 4,005 with the auto-aim and fire. Now going for the last tank alive on the enemy team. It is a convoy. We auto-aim, but it's like, okay, he's trying to fly behind buildings. Now we go for the RBRT, and we finish off that convoy with the shot into the rear, and finish the game with the 5 kills, 4,422 damage, the victory, 1,723 base XP with the nearly 1,900 assistance as well. That is a first class for that vehicle, which was a pretty nice game, well fully upgraded for the IS-3M. And you can see in that game it was pretty nice. It's just the gun handling was a bit wonky at times. That is a true accurate representation of this gun. Sometimes it's glorious, and sometimes it just goes, you know, I could hit that shot, or I'll hit the floor. Yeah, okay, I'll hit the floor. But it's fairly mobile. You will hit that 44 kilometers an hour top speed, which is nice. It turns very, very sharply, because you've got that 36 degrees a second hull rotation speed with the build that I have. You know, hitting the 44 kilometers an hour top speed is nice. The reload on this vehicle at nearly the 8.3 second reload with nearly 3.2k DPM is very, very nice for it as well. On the whole, it's not a bad tank for the start of the... Well, I mean, it's a mid-era tank, right? You unlock it off of the T-44A, so this is more in line with stuff like the Type 59, the T-54, the T-34 as well from the Western Alliance tree, you know, the Char-40T, Conway, etc., which is why you're more likely to see those vehicles in the matchmaking as well. But yes, you are a mid-area tank. For a mid-area tank, it's a pretty nice start to the heavy tank line, because it just guides you in gently, right? It's got a decent gun, it's got decent DPM, it's got reasonable armor. Not great armor, you're not guaranteed to bounce anything, and because the penetration in this era is pretty damn high for everything, they will go through your armor, but you've got enough that you can work positions to your advantage, like side scraping and stuff like that. So the gun handling's not too bad, except for it can be a bit wonky. The mobility's alright, the hull rotation's okay, you know. It's got a lot of assets for it that can go strongly. It's a pretty well-balanced vehicle, which is nice. And like I say, it's a pretty solid start for the line. So we're on the fourth and final replay. In this fourth and final replay, we're on Westfield. We've gone to the position here at E7 so that we can get shots at the people as they cross the K line. We go for the shot into the T95 E3, who is in the middle. He's in a bit of a weird position, but sadly we ended up ricocheting off his upper plate. We know there's tanks over there, so we've got to be very, very careful, because we also know there is a 4005 over there on that ridge, and that could hurt. So we don't want to take a hit from that guy if we can help it. The 4005 does get spotted though, because our light tank is YOLOing about over there on the HJK, which is good for us, because he's actually going to light that guy up a decent amount, and also he could spot people like this IS-3M or anything else that might be over there. So the FV107's gone in on the 4005, and I'm thinking, go on 4005, drive in the open, bro. There he is. Thank you very much, sir. We give it some lead, and we put the shot into that tank. 540 something damage was that? That was quite the roll there. Someone else must have hit that. That was quite a high roll there, but we'll take it. Going for the shot into the side of the turret of the IS-3M. And did you see that shot? We had the full turret of a 4005, and yet the one little bit of dirt in the reticle actually was hit in the last game. In this game, we had a slither of the turret of the IS-3M, and we hit it, because why not? Going after this T95 E3 now, because he could spot us if he pokes out. We put the shot into the back end of that vehicle as he's poked round the corner, and because he wasn't well, because his turret wasn't round the corner, he doesn't spot us up in return, which we'll take. There is still an IS-3M behind us, and there's an IS-4M in the corner at J0, but I'm really not that fussed about dealing with that at this moment in time. I am more bothered about the guys that are pushing out of the northern area and trying to get shots into them, because from this position here at E7, I should be able to get better shots at them. I should be able to stop their advance or negate their effect of their advance through that northern area. Now, this will be a little bit awkward with the IS-3M because we only have 5 degrees of gun depression, and this is definitely a position that's better with tanks with lots more. We take a very big risk there going against that 4005. Thankfully, he only tracks us because we managed to pull back in time. We go for the lower plate of the IS-4M, but sadly the shot actually goes to the far right and tracks him only, which, yeah, sad times. But I didn't want to poke up where I was poking up there again because it just wasn't cresting the ridgeline how I wanted it to, and it's kind of like your gun starts to go down and then it ends up bumping up at a really awkward angle with 5 degrees of gun depression. It just wasn't working for me. I should actually move over a bit more to the right of this ridgeline and it'll be better off. But we see the light tank harassing our light tank, so it's like, okay, I want to help this guy out, get rid of this FV-107. So we put a shot into the side of the 101, and naturally, we only track it. But we've stopped his momentum, which will make it a little bit easier to get shots in. But then we notice the IS-4M, and it's like, Mr. IS-4M, what are we doing? We put a shot into his drive wheel, and it only tracks him, which is good, because it stops his YOLO. But at the same time, I was hoping for a penetration as well. But that's just the armor of the IS-4M. It is just like that. The IS-4 is like that in general. It's pretty damn good. So I want to, again, try and get a shot into the light tank. He was still sat in the same position he popped smoke from, so we do get penetration into it. We switch back to our standard, and I'm just looking to see how much health the IS-4M is on before I go and, again, try and help my guys at A5-6, because they have quite a few people pushing them. There is a FV-4005 in the open, though. If we can get the drop on him and get rid of that gun, that's great, because that'll be a 183mm gun out of this game, and that's what we want. And then, good night, Mr. 4005. Next man for the YOLO, it's the T95E3. We're going for that back drive wheel to track him in place, but again, it just doesn't go in. So, okay, you know what, if it's not going to go, we're just going to, we know, we're detected, right? But I know there's no 4005 in this game anymore. We've shut them down, so I'm quite confident to take a hit, or because if I'm going to take it, it's going to be 400, and just so that we can try and whittle this E3 down, get rid of all of his hit points. And there we go, we managed to shut down the T95E3. There's only one tank left on the enemy team, and it is an IS-4M, which is, at this point, I couldn't remember the name of the guy that was in the corner at K0, and I was thinking, you know what, if the light tanks come over here, is that IS-4M still alive? And spoiler alert, yes, he was. I'm just going to save you the extra 2 minutes of driving where we don't get anywhere near it. And we're finished with the victory. 3 kills, 5,257 damage, the 1,547 base XP. Pretty damn nice game there, again, for the fully upgraded IS-3M. We're finished with Confederate, the second class, the Sniper. 1,547 base XP. Pretty damn nice game for it. And for what is a tank that is a good start to this Soviet heavy line. You can have a lot of fun with it, you can get good games out of it, you can push it to have a good time, and you will enjoy it. Just got to get over the 5 degrees of gun depression. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success.